are the dogs? Whose are they, or what do they look like?
They're two pit bulls. They're outside. They're outside in the back. So yes, they may encounter them. I don't care what they do to them. They can shoot them. I don't care.
Whose dogs are they?
They're our dogs. My dogs. My dogs.
Honestly, I don't even know how to start this video because the topic of pit bulls and pit bull ownership and bans is something that I really have been avoiding talking about for the longest time. As somebody who has had many experiences with the pit bull breed, I volunteer at small animal shelters and have for several years in multiple states. And on top of that, I have had my own personal bad experience with a pit bull.
It's okay.
You know, this video that came out today, or a few days ago, I should say, really hit home for me and really reminded me on why I should make a video like this. I already know, because I have worked with the animal advocacy groups and many people within those groups and know some of them, that I will be attacked pretty violently by pit bull supporters for coming out and making this video as an animal activist and as somebody who should be and has previously been an advocate for the breed. And I'm just not anymore. And I can't sit back and in good conscience continue to support the ownership of pit bulls.
September 2016. Pit bull run rampant in New Mexico. Pit bull attacked man in Florida. 5-year-old girl attacked by pit bull, Palm Desert. Portage, Indiana residents concerned about pit bulls after an attack. A La Pine officer recovering after pit bull attack. A pit bull attack in Northern Carolina on UPS driver. Woman has been hospitalized after a pit bull attack in Oakland Hills, and on and on and on. And this is 1 month.
Just the other day, I want to say the 3rd of April, there was an extremely violent pit bull attack on a carriage driving horse. And I will link the GoFundMe of the driver who stepped in to protect her horse and the owner of the horse for the horse's medical bills. The horse was bit severely more than 15 times on the face and legs and has to bear scars for the rest of its life. This horse will not only be physically traumatized, but emotionally for the rest of its life, and will almost certainly never be able to be a carriage driving horse again, even just for pleasure, because this horse will probably freak out at the sight of any dog. It is very, very difficult, if not impossible, to rehabilitate horses that have been attacked by an animal. In fact, the only horse that I've ever been able to rehabilitate from a dog attack is my own. Luckily, my horse grew up around dogs, so it was easier for him to be rehabilitated.
It happened the day before Easter at Cane Creek Park in Union County. You can hear the screams of young children as the dog escapes its leash and lunges without warning.
He jumped up and actually latched onto the horse's throat.
Charlotte was bitten more than 15 times, and Medlin says she acted with extreme poise during the attack.
The victim's brother, Travis, spoke exclusively with Fox 46. He says his sister, Amanda Medlin Underwood, tried to break up the fight. She suffered multiple head wounds that had to be stapled and a broken foot that will require surgery.
Someone needs to fucking start speaking out about this. And I know that I'm kind of the lone wolf right now, and I'm probably going to be crucified for this because I'm an animal activist and this is what I do, and I'm kind of going against my own people right now. I have had my own experiences with this dog breed, not only physically, but also in rescue shelters and with families of victims who were attacked by these dogs who were relinquishing their dogs to the shelters I was working in. I helped out in the euthanization of many, many, many pit bulls because they could not pass the behavioral tests to be adopted out. We did not deem them safe enough to be adopted out to other families. Do I think pit bulls should be banned? Yes, absolutely.
Meet Dr. Michael Galinko. He's the director of plastic surgery at the Children's Hospital in Little Rock, Arkansas. He loves his dogs, but not all dogs. In your professional opinion, do pit bulls and kids mix well?
No. No. I'd like to say they do. Like I said, I'm a dog lover, and I like to say that every dog gets along well, and they may mix well with adults or, other breeds, but I think there's just too much of a risk from what I've seen to kind of advocate for that or kind of sanction that.
Dr. Galinko came to this conclusion after completing 2 large bite studies involving more than 500 children admitted to hospitals in Arkansas and some 1,600 in Atlanta. 46 different breeds were identified, but when it comes to the deepest, most damaging dog bites, the pit bulls were in a class of their own.
What makes the pit bull different is that it would bite and would keep on attacking, and again, as we said, in multiple anatomic locations, 2 to 3 times more likely. And any kid that went to the operating room, half the time, half the time, that was a pit bull. And the other half the time, it was every other breed you can think of. So to me, that's an overwhelming preponderance of data.
In my own personal opinion, I think pit bulls should be treated just like wild animals, because that's essentially what they are. We have bred them throughout history to be the opposite of domesticated. We have essentially undomesticated these dogs. If you can domesticate a dog, you can undomesticate a dog. It's the same thing as having a tiger or a wolf or any other wild animal in your house that is incredibly unpredictable because it's a wild animal. It does not mean that this is a bad animal, that it's malicious, that it hates everything and hates everyone and just wants to kill everyone. Are there good pit bulls out there? Yes, I'm sure. Are there good owners of pit bulls out there? Yes, I'm sure. However, should everyone be able to own a pit bull? No.
How were you able to identify whether these were in fact pit bulls that had attacked these victims?
That's a great question. It was pretty much because the majority of the biting dogs is either a family dog or a dog known to the family, meaning, mom's boyfriend or ex-husband brings over a dog or grandma brings over a dog. It's typically a dog that the child is familiar with.
Pit bulls are inherently more aggressive than other dog breeds, and not to mention they cause 5 times the amount of damage to people and children and other animals when they attack. They are responsible for the overwhelming amount of dog attacks to humans and other animals every single year, more so than any other dog breed, causing twice the amount of fatalities and injuries, and most often they turn on their own owners, children, family members.
Today, Treylon sees for the first time what the dog left him looking like, with 50 lacerations to his face, his scalp ripped from his head.
I want to mention that this documentary is amazing. There's many other pieces of research and documentaries out there. This is the thing that I started struggling with a few years ago as an animal activist. I once upon a time advocated for pit bulls. I once upon a time said, it's not the dog, it's the person. But how can I stick to that logic after meeting the countless families who relinquished their pit bulls to me and to my colleagues at rescue shelters, saying that they can't handle this dog anymore, that they fear for their children? How can I just sit there and say, when pit bulls make up a 40% of the relinquished dogs in shelters today, how can you sit there and say that all of those owners are bad? I believe that there is around 190 or something recognized dog breeds, and that one dog breed is responsible for the overwhelming majority of dog attacks to humans and other animals.
But take a drive through the streets of St. Louis to get an idea about what happens when there are no restrictions on pit bulls. It's a veritable free-for-all.
In this alleyway, there were at one time probably 8 to 10 pit bulls being housed here. And now it looks like he's got additional dogs and puppies on the property, so I would imagine he's selling the puppies.
Donna Lockman is a pit bull lover who sees too many backyard breeders selling them as status dogs, guard dogs, or fighting dogs. She says many of these dogs will end up in the crowded shelter where she works.
I also think it's incredibly unfair to pit bulls themselves, because 99% of these dogs are bred irresponsibly. Almost all of them will end up in shelters throughout their life, And if they don't go to a kill shelter where they can be humanely euthanized, they will go to a no-kill shelter where they will end up being fluctuated all over the place.
We had a very strict policy when we started. When you did a temperament test, if the dog did not pass the test, it was euthanized. And that was it.
But that's changed in the U.S. thanks to the no-kill movement.
And we started fabricating stories, exaggerating abuse and things like that to try to sell them, basically. We started writing dog bios, and you want to like focus on the good and use new words. Instead of saying dog aggressive, you say dog reactive, and then pass it on to the public who thinks that, oh, I'm just getting a dog that sometimes doesn't like all dogs. So I'll just like do slow introductions, when reality is that this dog wants to kill other dogs.
These dogs will end up being adopted out to other families as safe dogs, and then they end up attacking the new owners and then end up being killed or euthanized at some other point in their life. Are all pit bulls bad? No. But the overwhelming majority should not be around people in domesticated settings. Do I think it is the responsible thing for shelters to euthanize animals that they deem too aggressive to be with other people? Yes, absolutely. I think that is the public safety and responsible thing to do. I used to think that all of the pit bull bans were just bullshit, but if you really look into the statistics and you really talk to the doctors who experience stuff like this firsthand, and then you yourself have your own personal encounter with an animal like that, you start to understand and put the pieces of the puzzle together that this is not just an owner problem. And anybody who wants to say that they're just making shit up to make a dog breed look bad is full of shit, because statistics don't lie.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Stop. Go with Justin. Go with Justin. Go with Justin.
You want to jump off?
Get the dog!
This is so far the 5th video I have seen in less than a year of a pit bull attacking a horse. And not only that, but I have 2 other friends of mine who have had bad experiences while out trail riding their horses. I myself have had a bad experience with a pit bull. This video is so disturbing to me for so many reasons. Not only is this dog just relentlessly going after this horse, which is something that pit bulls do, which is one of the reasons why pit bull attacks are 5 times more dangerous than any other dog attack. Not to mention, this dog attacked the owner of the horse, the driver, who was trying to step in and protect the horse, who is still in the hospital today. Can you imagine what that dog could have done to a little kid? The scariest thing about this video to me is the fact that this dog kept coming back over and over and over again, even after this horse is relentlessly kicking him, and the dog ended up succumbing to its own injuries.
The family tells me they're looking to hire an attorney and are considering a civil lawsuit against the owner of the dog for the mounting medical bills. We were unable to reach the dog owner for comment.
If you have an animal that's that dangerous, you should not have them in or around the public at all. So not only was this an incredibly irresponsible dog owner, but the way that this dog attacked the horse, I mean, it really just gave me a lot of PTSD when I was watching it. It really reminded me so much of what I went through with Link, and the viciousness of this dog breed that I experienced firsthand. I've always had dogs my whole life. I have always rescued dogs. I have had hunting dogs. I have helped in the rehabilitation and training of abused and aggressive dogs. Pit bulls are by far the most aggressive dog breed I have ever worked with. These dogs will not stop. Once they find a victim and choose it, it is nearly impossible to get a pit bull off of the victim. There is a reason why they are banned. There is a reason why there are places where you cannot even bring them to the fucking dog park. This is now a public safety issue, and continuing to see videos like this pop up is just really it's really hard for me to stay silent anymore. A few years back, when I notably stopped advocating for the dog breed, Link and we were out on a trail. Mind you, I had the proper training at this point to handle aggressive dogs, and we were out on a trail ride in a big open pasture. I mean, you guys remember this place in Colorado before I moved here to California. There's a leash law. And for some reason, this couple just thought that they could walk their pit bull off leash. I remember we were just walking through the brush, which was about maybe 2 feet tall, and it was in fall, so everything was kind of like yellow and dying. Huge area, and we were the only ones in the field. And oftentimes there were like elk out there and other wildlife, so that's why they said you always, if you're gonna go on those trails, you have to keep your dog on a leash. I remember seeing them exiting through the far gate. I didn't even know they had a dog with them, but I'm assuming it was their dog, because why else would this random ass dog with a collar and a tag on be out in the field? And I could tell that Link was antsy, like he was, you know, starting to get a little excited, like dancing his feet around and raising his head up and hollowing out, and he looked like he was scared because he could hear something. And so, you know, when your horse gets scared, you automatically are like, all right, something's going on, because your horse can hear better than you. I noticed out of the corner of my eye this little dot coming out of the brush, and it just started charging at us like nothing I'd ever fucking seen before. And I didn't want to take off on Link because I knew it was gonna be a bad idea to try and outrun this fucking dog, right? I was gonna get hurt or thrown, my horse was gonna get hurt, the dog was gonna get hurt, and I was like, I need to minimize this situation as much as possible. So I immediately get off, and the dog lunges for Link's back legs, his hocks. And I remember he started kicking and freaking out, and I let go of the reins because I was like, all right, if you're gonna fucking run, just like get out of here, you know? I don't want my horse to stand here and get hurt. He's not gonna go far. And I was trying so fucking hard to grab this dog, and this dog was kicked probably 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times by my horse. Kept coming after him, just like this video. I tried everything I could. I tried grabbing the dog's back legs. I tried grabbing the dog's front legs. I tried shoving my fist into his mouth. I literally have a cut from when I shoved my hand into the dog's mouth. It has literally scarred on my hand right here, where I shoved my hand into his mouth so hard to try and get him off my horse that the tooth scraped so deeply into my hand that it left a permanent scar. He still wouldn't let go. Mind you, I was getting kicked too. Like, my horse was trying hard to get away, and I remember I just grabbed the dog and I just started punching the dog's face as hard as I could, right in the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and the dog finally let go, finally. And I remember I grabbed the dog, I took the dog back to the barn because the owners left. They literally left. They didn't even try to come over, and I took the dog back to the shelter that I worked at. They called the owners ended up getting fined, and the dog was euthanized. It's just, the thing is, I don't think anybody is responsible enough to own a pit bull unless you go through the proper training and understanding of these animals in this breed, the same as you would if you were going to get a license to own and care for a wild animal. I don't think the average person is capable of handling a situation like that. I don't think the average person is capable of managing a wild animal without the proper training and knowledge and understanding. So do I think the average person should own a pit bull? No.
I never would have imagined in a million years before this that my dog, my pet, would attack me and kill a child.
His face was just gone. I mean, from here down was just mangled.
That's the wrong way, baby. You're facing the back. I'm not advocating for all of these animals to be euthanized or put down, but I think there should legitimately be sanctuaries put in place for pit bulls instead of trying to continue to adopt them out to families where children and other animals' lives are put at risk. I certainly myself would never own a pit bull. I think that it is the public's responsibility to care about the safety of others. And I think that it is the public's responsibility to care about this dog breed and not just discard them, but put in place sanctuaries for pit bulls where they can be rehabbed and live a normal life there. Anyway, to end this video, I just want to say to any other horse riders out there that anytime I trail ride now, I always carry a stun gun with me. Thankfully, I've never had to use it, but I would much rather use this than any other deadly force weapon. I know so many people who have had bad experiences with dogs on trail that I would recommend everybody get one of these. I want to put a few links down below and also GoFundMes for the owners of this horse and the brave, heroic woman who was driving the carriage who stepped in to protect this horse. I think that the owner needs to be sued, not only for the negligence of its own dog and causing the death of its own dog, but also for the injuries and medical bills of the woman and the injuries and vet bills of the horse. Anyway, I love you guys, and I don't want people to take away from this hatred for the dog breed, because this just needs to be known that these animals are completely fine. They just should not be owned by the general public.